start to camp. A lot of guys making a lot of plays, and it's just a start. So we're excited to keep stacking days.
Yeah, it's easy to talk to guys coming out of the portal about why Kentucky, why this school. But was there a specific pitch, a specific message that led you to this place?
Now for me, it was really just the opportunity, and I love Coach Hamden and his offense, and the pieces that are going to be put in front of me and the guys that we have. So, just really excited for the opportunity.
Hamden talked today about physicality in the SEC, specifically saying he maybe made some mistakes running the quarterback a little too much early on last year. Have there been conversations already about what that role will look like for you in terms of staying healthy in the SEC?
Yeah, I think for me, it's just got to be smart and aggressive. There's going to be times where, I might have to put my shoulder down on it. Got to have a situation, but, also got to protect myself. It's a long season, with some really good, strong opponents. So, got to stay healthy, but also got to win games.
Smart and aggressive. How do you do that?
I think it's a game by game and play by play mentality. So, when we need it, we need it. When I got to get down, I got to get down.
2 veteran receivers left, but some talent coming back. I know they're all new to you, but what's the receiver room like?
Really good. A group of guys that came to work all summer. I sent a text, hey, we're gonna throw 5 p.m. on Sunday, and we got 12, 13, 14 guys out there. So really encouraging to see that, and then really good start to camp. Guys are hustling, running fast off the ball, making a lot of plays. So a lot to work on, but a lot to build off of as well.
You put up good numbers at your last stop, but you were an SEC quarterback once upon a time. How much of a help is that for you now, being an SEC quarterback?
Yeah, I think the experience, was really good, and there was a lot that I could learn from then, at both stops. But I think just being in the SEC and having experience with, the speed of this game is different than, everywhere but the NFL. So I think it's the strongest conference in America, when it comes to speed and competition and strength of the guys. So just that experience and knowing how to handle it and prepare for it.
Stoops has talked a little bit about the benefit of having a guy like Bo in this room who's so mature, who's just been around so much, this program specifically. What can you learn from him specifically?
Oh, no, Bo's awesome. He's a guy that I can come talk to after, we get our rack of 4 or 5 plays, and, I can come talk to him and ask him what he saw. And I think he's going to be a big tool for us, in the season. Just, personally, somebody that I can come talk to on the sideline and, talk through certain plays, certain looks, what he likes and what he doesn't like. And just also kind of mentally, too, as he plays like a mentor role for, me and all the quarterbacks. So just having him, I think, is a huge strength and a huge tool for our quarterback room.
What excites you about the offense?
To everything, from the O-line. I think the O-line's made huge strides. All those guys do really well. They're the last to leave the building every night, and I think they take pride in what they do. And then, everyone from our running backs, too, I think we're going to be able to run the ball really well, and that's going to open up a lot for, our receivers to go make plays down the field.
How have you seen yourself evolve since you first got here at Lexington?
I think just as a teammate, I came in, I wanted to be the best teammate I could be, and that allows me to, now that we're rolling into camp, take more of a leadership role, and, I bonded with a lot of the guys on the team, and just make sure that we're all headed in the right direction.
Zach, do you feel like you fully adjusted at this point to being here in Lexington now and being a part of this program?
Yes, sir, absolutely. Yeah.
What makes it that way? How do you feel that comfort?
I think just like I was saying, the biggest thing for me is relationships with these guys. It's been a really quick turn around, a lot of new guys, a lot of new faces, but, just spending as much time in the locker room and with these guys as I can, just to make sure that, we get to the season and there's that trust built with everybody.
What are your thoughts on your receiving room this year, and how do you like the guys that you've been, connecting with in practice?
Oh, I love it, man. Like I was telling them, it's a group of guys that was willing to work, and I think they all push each other to get a lot better. In the spring, there was a couple guys that stood out, from a sense of hustling every play, finishing every play, and it's brought the whole room along. So now we're out there and we got, 3, 4 guys running full speed. They're taking pride in their blocking assignments and just, moving forward.
Zach, will you talk about your relationship with Cutter Boley and what that's been like?
Oh, it's awesome. I think that we have a really healthy quarterback room. Me, Cutter, and all those guys, I think we build off of each other. We laugh and joke when the time's right, but, when we're out there on the field, I think we build and we learn off each other's mistakes and off the good things that we do.
This isn't your first move to a different school, so as a quarterback, just what's it like to go in and try to become the leader? How do you try to take that role?
Right. I mean, it just starts with being a good teammate and building trust. If those guys can't trust me on the field, then we're a sinking ship. So I think that it starts with being a good teammate and you know, showing up every day and being the same guy every day and making sure that I'm somebody that they can trust.
The O-line is literally called the Big Blue Wall, but at least on paper, it seems like a bigger Big Blue Wall than we've seen here the last couple of years. Just from a physical standpoint, what do you see out of some of those guys, and how can that help you?
Yeah, it's awesome. I think it starts with their mentality. Like I said, they take pride in everything that they do, from pass protection to run blocking. And, you know, Coach Bush says at every meeting, explosive start up front. So, you know, them taking pride in knowing any play could change the game and treating every play like that.
Got to worry about strength. Some you got to worry about speed. He said David's got both. Has that always been I've got to think it's been a huge help to you.
Oh yeah. See, when I was little, I was not coordinated at all. Like I couldn't even do like a ladder, so it definitely took some time for the speed aspect. But as a kid, I've always been pretty strong.
So how much are you looking forward to playing in the SEC?
Greatly, because I got me and my brother here, and so me and my mama are both happy that we're out here, and it's SEC just a really great schedule, and I got great teammates with me, so I'm just happy about that.
Jagger said you and he have already had some pretty good battles. What are you seeing from him?
Jagger's probably one of the best people and best centers that I've been around, and he's just overall just a great person, and then also Farm is a freak of nature. And so 90% of body fat at 6'6" and 330. That dude's a freak. But Jagger is also a freak of his own. And so he just makes me just a better player just overall.
David, why do people call you Bone?
So that happened at Washington State. And then so I ended up getting a few teammates hurt. and then it kind of just carried over. And then I had a teammate named RJ Stone, so I'm gonna send this to you if I find it. He bet me that I wouldn't get it tatted on my fingers, and I did when I was 19, and then so I just did it, and then so basically I got it on there.
What excites you about this defensive unit?
This defensive unit. This is probably the best secondary that I've ever been around, and so the people are great, and we're physical, and Coach White definitely knows his stuff. And so I remember walkthroughs. We're supposed to walk through 15 plays. This man is so particular on one play. We spent an hour on one play, on a whole walkthrough. It is. Yeah, that man is definitely on the little things. And the beginning of the season last year, I guess they were at the top, but then injuries and stuff happens. And so but overall, without the injuries, it's definitely one of the best defenses in the SEC.
What has impressed you just about the secondary?
So at Washington State, our secondary was good. But the size and the physicality and the speed and just people are just smart here, and so I'm just glad to play around people who love the game just as much as I do.
Yeah, and you mentioned just your support system. How nice has that been? You know, you're in a new part of the country from where you were. Just I believe your brother's here and then your wife. How nice is that to have that with you as you transition to just a new place?
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure if I would be able to do it without him. It's definitely because I grew up a West Coast kid. I grew up east of LA, and so coming out here is completely different. And so I don't know nobody. It's definitely the weather different. I heard cicadas for the first time. Yeah. I did not know what those were. I freaked out when I walked outside in the summer. It was the weirdest thing. A big bug hit me in the mouth, and I was freaking out. But
they don't have cicadas in San Bernardino.
They don't got nothing. The only thing we got is ants. And then I came out and then I saw some big bugs and trees. Excuse my language, I freaked the fuck out. It's it was weird. But and then I drove down to Georgia, saw an alligator for the first time. That freaked me the fuck out too, excuse my language.
Yeah.
And so I even swam in a single body of water here in Kentucky after I saw that thing. And so I'm this right there.
I think you would be safe here from the alligators.
I don't think so though. I ain't doing it.
So of all the differences about Kentucky compared to California, what's probably the thing you like the most, if there is one?
What I like the most? It's hard because I'm a huge California advocate. California has everything. I'm trying to think. Kentucky has better chicken though.
Better chicken?
Yeah. Well, I guess it's mixed from all around. But California is mainly Mexican food. I guess oh, here we go. I never had soul food.
Soul food?
I never had soul food. It's definitely different.
Yeah. If you like fried food, this is the place for you.
My coach told me I need to stay away from fried food a little bit.
I bet he did.
Yeah, because those visits definitely put a little bit of weight on you. So I came here at 3:05. I started spring at 320 and I got back down. Yeah. So definitely like the fried chicken here is definitely a lot better.
Why did you pick Kentucky?
So I mainly picked Kentucky because honestly, it's definitely like a great place. There's a lot of great places around the country. Everybody has facilities. Everybody has stadiums. But what mainly stood out to me was the staff here, and like I can't even say the staff in like, oh, I'm gonna point out versus Coach White. Like for the first part, Coach White didn't talk football with me, and then so you know like when you're like a chance player, but like oh football areas are like basically like or basically like what I could do for them. It was more what he could do for me as like basically a human being, as like a person. And then he would definitely talk about how he could develop me as like a man, and especially just getting married and I want to have kids like the next year. It's definitely important to me. And then but then when we get into the actual side of football, he was definitely one of the smartest DCs that I've ever been around. And like when he gets into football, he's one of the most passionate people I've ever been around, especially when he talks about like just playing football in general.
How long have you guys been married?
We actually got married in April, so it's definitely recent. And then so when I have time off from like season, we're gonna go to a whole other ceremony and stuff like it's like her family from Asia can like come down and just have a big get together.
Now, does your brother? Does he live with you guys, or?
Yes, sir. He does live with us.
So you do have a little family unit working.
Mm-hmm. And then also my auntie lives in Louisville. I just found out too. I found when I first got here, my dad's like, "Oh, you got family here?" I'm like, "Oh, shit." Huh? And then so basically we went out and saw them, and it's definitely nice having a little system here.
And I'm sorry if you've been asked this, but you obviously have to go against the offensive line. A lot of questions surround that unit. Just what do you think of them going up against the battling?
So I can't speak on like the tackles, but overall like, the interior three is definitely physical and some of the most O-liney, if that makes sense, linemen that you'll get around. But overall they are great people. They're competitive, but like let's say I fall down, they'll keep you up. Definitely sportsmanship there, and just overall just great people.
It was really humid, cool. I thought it would be hot and sticky, but it turned out to be very, very meditative, very peaceful, holistic. So it was a good time.
Could that be a place that you could go as your kind of solitude place during the season and when you get a chance to get away?
Among other things, yeah. There's a good outlook, scenic overview. Once you're standing on the natural bridge itself, very peaceful.
And what do you just think of, sorry if you've already been asked this, just obviously you're a West Coast guy, a native. What do you think about Kentucky after being here for a little bit?
People here are very nice. The resources are bountiful. You guys get a lot of rain, that's for sure. And I don't think I've ever been surrounded by a group of more welcoming and respectful people.
And speaking about the offensive line, obviously that's a group that Kentucky really wanted to overhaul this year, and obviously you're a major part of that. Just what do you think about you and your teammates so far, and how have you guys come along so far?
Well, it's cool. We're all a melting pot, coming in from different people, places, nations. It's fun getting to know my teammates, understanding where they're from, what they're fighting for. It's pretty cool.
And going up against David Gusta and the defensive line, just who you battled with the most over there on the other side?
Okay, well, competition-wise, Sam Green, incredible man coming in from USC, and McQueese Grace, incredible man there, very long. I hope to see him in the NFL. I'll say that.
So can you really fly a drone?
Yeah, I fly. I got a mini DJI too. That's what it is, and it's similar to a controller or whatnot. The only thing is, if you want to take really good shots, you gotta like pan it slowly and make the drone move slowly. That's where the real, footage gets produced. I actually had mine dive bombed by an eagle once. I got footage of it too.
Not here in Lexington.
No. Back home in New Mexico. Yeah.
So what made you start doing that and liking that?
Man, it's all about perspective, man. I wanted to see what the world was like from that perspective, and to actually be able to see it with myself through my own manipulations and whatnot. So it was cool. I
My
just
son,
wanted a high view.
my son-in-law, we snuck his drone to the gorge.
Oh yeah.
And he took it down in the bottom and brought it up and over us, and it was pretty cool. Very cool.
Very cool.
And then one of your teammates told me you could solve a Rubik's Cube like in 30 seconds.
1 minute to be more accurate, and that's just a hobby I picked up back in middle school. I wanted to do something with my time, so I set out to complete a Rubik's Cube in a day, and I did. It took me a day, and I solved it. And I've kind of just carried that on in my toolbox of just things I do.
So you just that's almost like showing off for people that when you do it that quick, isn't it? Most of us can't even do it in 12 days.
I guess so.
I'm still trying to solve it.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of memory, or you got to memorize certain algorithms, and then once you see that certain patterns in the cube, you execute those algorithms.
Does that thought pattern apply to being on the offensive line?
Sure, you get an input, and you see a landscape, and you output and you execute, I guess.
So,
sure, yeah. In terms of like, in cognitive function and like processing, sure, yeah.
Cool.
You seem like a man that has a lot of interest outside of football. Just kind of talk about what kind of interests you have that keep you satisfied when you're not on the field.
Well, okay. I like to read. I like history, and video games are pretty cool. In the off time, I mentioned here with Daryl, that I hike, and yeah, that's pretty much.
Favorite period of history to study?
Favorite period? Well, American history, for sure. I like history across the world. History of sumo, history of Japan, history of Mongolia. I mean, I dazzle, I look at things. I'm always curious. So.
I picture you hiking. The bears would be the ones with the spray if they saw you coming.
Thankfully, I've not yet to encounter such an incredible animal. So.
Let's keep it that way. Yeah, keep it that way.
Quick question. Kentucky has been known during the heights of this tenure of this coaching staff for their offensive line. Last couple of years, that's not been the case. What are you guys going to do to get that back to a culture? Is that offensive line room? Do you feel like they're equipped to bring back what they've called the big blue wall?
Of course, that is that standard. That's very clear. That's the standard we want to work at. But right now we're just taking it day by day, getting stronger, working together, being in the present.
A guy with your size, your talent, your experience, I'm sure you've had options in the portal this offseason. What was it about Kentucky that made the difference? What was the pitch that got you here?
Well, I told the fellas over there that it was the food. Coach Wolf took me to Tony's, and there was phenomenal cuisine there. Coach Stoops is a genuine man, and I connected with him the most. Not the most, but I connected with him in a very unique way. And the place here, it's a good step in the right direction from moving on from Las Cruces in terms of some place I can call home potentially. The people, the horses, good place here.
Yeah, you're gonna be into the horses?
Yeah, coming up into the fall, Keeneland's opening back up or whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool. We've heard a lot. I mean, obviously none of us are in practice, but we hear a lot about the intensity of Coach Wolford. What can you tell us and the fans who aren't there every day what he's actually like when he's coaching you guys?
Well, if you do get the opportunity, do pop out, take a look for yourself. He's a hardworking man. That's as much as I can say.
You played a little bit of basketball growing up, is that right?
For a couple of years, I was more of just a rebound guy. Pick up the ball, pass it to someone else who could dribble.
So what do you think? Do you have any thoughts about Kentucky basketball? Do you know anything about that growing up?
Coach Pope, I believe.
Yep. You got it.
I think you two would hit it off. I think you all have the similar.
Very, very cerebral.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
And I heard he's pretty good at chess. So he's a cool guy, and he runs a tight crew. I like basketball. Yeah. Good sport.
Thank you,
very brief manner, just because, you know, hearing about all of the stuff you hear about with the portal games and the politics and stuff, kind of, you know, getting caught up in that, I feel like here, you know, it's kind of like they confirmed everything that, you know, I was worried about. And so, you know, kind of got rid of all those worries. And, you know, from that point, I was just ready to go. Been ready to play since I took my visit. You know, so, that was all good.
How difficult was it to leave Mexico State, given that they were the ones that took the chance on to get you back?
Yeah, I mean, it was difficult to leave. I don't think either I or them looked at it as like, you know, they were the ones who necessarily, you know, gave me a chance, because, you know, that situation was so, you know, far in the past from the time that I attended New Mexico State. And I'd already been in several programs, you know, being that it was NAIA and JUCO and all that, but there was, you know, still some respected programs and schools where, you know, you are expected to conduct yourself, you know, accordingly. And, you know, I did that. And, you know, I embrace all that, and I feel like I didn't take a mediocre approach anywhere that I was at. And so, you know, I think they just simply saw that, you know, in me, and you know, that gave them the confirmation that they needed to, you know, get me on the team. And, you know, I developed amazing relationships with those guys, and, you know, I still talk to them today. So, you know, it's like I left, but, you know, I'll always be an Aggie, you know, so nothing personal there, just strictly business decision, a purely football-based decision about what's best for me and my future, you know, in this sport.
Was there a time you thought that there may not be a future in football?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean,
and just talk about your path to get back to that. Like, what kind of you had to better yourself off the field to get back onto the field?
Absolutely. I mean, that's, like I say, just focusing on the opportunity and not the obstacle. You know, at one point, you know, there was nothing in the world that was telling me that this was a reality. There was nothing, there was nobody. And, you know, like I said, like I told him, I continue to choose faith. And, you know, like I said, it's hard, but I think everybody has their ups and downs. Everybody has their own journey. And, you know, you just kind of got to play the cards you dealt and, you know, enjoy the game that you're playing. You know, I think just like, the reason why I love this sport is because it reflects life so much. And, you know, me just continuing the core values and principles that I've gained throughout my life in this game, and just applying it to my life during that time, even when I was absent from the game, you know, just kind of verified everything that I learned over that time. And, you know, I was able to apply a lot of that stuff in the real world and get direct results, and then now come back in the programs with, you know, telling guys who you know, don't necessarily have that perspective, just try to, you know, kind of steer them in the right direction and keep their minds open to like a progressive mindset, you know, just a growth mindset. And yeah, man.
Just back in the SEC here, through all the journey that you had, just kind of how motivated are you to kind of get through this season and kind of leave an impact that you didn't know that you would have in the past?
Yeah, I mean, one thing about this season is, like, I have, you know, there's always going to be a little trace of it, but I really don't have much anxiety. You know, I don't have any worry that there's just nothing on the fence here. I think this is the most confident I've been out of any season that I've ever played of football, just because, like, I know what I'm playing for, and I know what I've been equipped with, and I'm just ready to put all that on display, you know, for this program, for the state of Kentucky, and for my family.
That's what I always say that I'm here for. Honestly, I could care less about money and NIL and all the other stuff that comes with everything, man. I just want to be able to make an impact. So when I leave here, I want people to say, well, I played with Jamori Macklin. He helped me as a person. So I think that's the biggest thing that anybody could ever say about me, I would love that.
Being the leader, what does it mean? What is the room like now as opposed to last year?
I mean, we just got a lot of new guys, man, just willing to learn. I'm not saying the last year guys didn't. You know what I'm saying? Everybody last year was amazing. You know, all those guys that I played with. But, everybody's new here, so I feel like that's just made me take the next step and just being able to lead those guys. You know, they already had Danke and everybody last year who's been here. You know what I'm saying? I just came in. It was just, another helping hand. And those guys, Danke and Barry on them did a really good job of leading the group last year. So, we got a bunch of new guys that's really ready to learn. They're not really honing in on last year or what had last year or who we had last year. They just focus on this year. So.
You talk about a lot of those new faces. Just who has stood out to you compared to last year? You kind of seen their receiving room. Who do you think is going to take a big step this year?
I'm going to say a bunch of the young guys. DJ Miller. It's going to be really good. DJ Miller, Quisenberry is going to be really good. All our young guys, our young core is really good. Cam Miller, Harley Gilman, like they when me, K-Law, J.J. Hester, and Fred Ferrier gone, man, Kentucky ain't got nothing to worry about. I'll tell you that, because those guys they were better than what I was when I was that young. They got something to them, so.
What have you seen from Harley? He was here last year and then left, and now he's back.
Yeah.
What have you seen from him this year as compared to last year?
I mean, I think his growth, he's starting to learn a little bit. He's still young, 17, 18 years old, still learning, like, how to go about his business, you know what I'm saying? So I think that having a guy like me around it would have helped him out, just setting the example and just being able to lead him. So, I'm excited for what he'll be able to do here in the future and this year for us.
And last year, 13 receptions probably wasn't ideal. You had a difficult decision this offseason to make. Just what made you confident to come back to Kentucky rather than go somewhere else?
Confident, man. I was just, I was confident in myself and what I could do. And I was confident in Coach Stoops. And after we had a conversation, him and Bush, after the season, we all laid it all out there that things didn't go the way that it should have. But, I'm not really honed in on what happened last year. I'm just ready to approach this year with a new mindset and a new day to just come in, lead this team, help this team however I can.
15, and so what you need to do days 1 through 6 to try to limit how bad your body feels and kind of extend the longevity of your legs and your back and that. And when it comes to guys like me and Wooly for the offensive line, especially with Jagger being here 5 years, it's up to us to get the freshmen like Darren, some of the younger guys like Abba to really hone in on how to take care of their bodies, how to prepare for practice the right way. And I think it's our duty and our responsibility to get them to have that understanding and apply it to their lives and their careers going forward.
I know pads are getting on today, so it's hard to tell, but you did go up against them all spring, and people were really high on David Gusta. So.
Oh yeah.
What? Wow.
Yeah, no, I think he's really twitchy. He's got a great get off. Me and Jagger talk about this all the time. He's one of the few defensive linemen that we've gone up against that not only do you have to worry about his speed, but you also have to worry about his power. Usually you have one or the other with defensive linemen, especially interior defensive linemen. He walks the line between the two very finely, and I think he does a great job of using his God-given leverage and power to his advantage.
I think people by now.
Just how well has Jagger taken to the center position? Because I know he's gone back and forth quite a bit.
Yeah, no, I mean he's let me see, he's the 5th center I've played with, and he's taken to it like everyone else. He's done a great job of knowing the responsibilities, knowing the IDs, communicating that to the rest of the offensive line. If we have a miscommunication, he does a very good job of making sure we're all on the right page before the center snaps the ball. And if that means telling Zach or telling Cutter to hold on a second so we can get everything ID'd correctly, he does a good job of making sure we're all on the same page.
There's been so much talk about the O-line over the years. Everybody, I think, has learned that 5 guys acting as one. But generally, that sort of happens organically over time. You guys have been thrown together in a matter of months or weeks. Yeah. How challenging is that to develop that sense of working as one?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge. I feel whenever you have as many transfers as we do on the offensive line, it's going to be a challenge to get all 5 to act as one. I think it's definitely a credit to the guys who were here last year. They've done a very good job of opening their arms and welcoming us as transfers into here. And I feel like on the other side, I feel like the transfers like Pete and Wooly have done a good job of not stepping on anyone's toes and not being too arrogant, so to speak. And I feel like when you are a transfer, it's very important that you make it known that you're here to be a team player. I think in college football nowadays, it's very transactional. And so I think, especially as the offensive line, you have to know that your brother, the guy next to you, is there to play for you and for this team, for this state. And I think we've done a good job of navigating that. We meet outside of football all the time. I feel like this is the closest I've been with an offensive line in the shortest amount of time. And I think it's a credit to guys like Malachi Wood, guys like Jagger, who have taken us in, shown us some of the great things about Lexington, and just allowed us to take joy in being a part of the Big Blue Wall.
I just want to ask you, you've had your fair share of like legendary coaches. You have Saban, DeBoer, and now you have Stoops, who have all respectively made such great wavelengths at their programs. So can you kind of talk about, what you carry with them here to Kentucky, and maybe, something that's always in your head that you keep with you?
I mean, just playing for a lot of different coaches and a lot of different OCs. I think the mindset. You know what I'm saying? They have that aggressive, that attack mindset, and that's what I think I carry with me also. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause also playing on the offensive side of the ball. Everybody think that defense is the more attack, more aggressive, but nah, offense is too.
A big thing Stoops was talking about is when you have a lot of new guys coming in here, you don't carry the transgressions from last year, and you're not thinking about a bad season or anything. Having such crazy years at Alabama, is winning like a normalcy to you now? And do you think about a world where, maybe we won't have a win today and I got to be a leader in that locker room?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I wake up every day, with that type of mindset, just wanting to come out here, do my best, lead the guys in the best way possible. But I mean, last year was last year. You know what I'm saying? We're rolling into a brand new year, so it's a brand new start. You know what I'm saying? And just being out here every day shows that.
Can you kind of talk about being the number one receiver, right? And having to be that guy, it comes down to a big moment, it's 3rd and 8, hey, Kendrick Law is probably going to get thrown the ball.
Oh yeah, I mean, not number one receiver. You know what I'm saying? We're all number one receivers. You know what I'm saying? Just coming out here every day. You know what I'm saying? Just executing. You know what I'm saying? That's what it comes down to. Those big plays are just execution. You know what I'm saying? I can go out there and it's 4th and 1 and I don't execute. You know what I'm saying? That don't make no difference. You know what I'm saying? Then a freshman coming in, he's executing. That don't make him the number one player. It's about execution.
What's going on, Big Blue Nation? I'm here with Dante Detto. Can you talk about, following the lineage of running backs? You have guys like Ray Davis, Benny Snell, guys who have been through this program. Can you kind of talk about being that next guy up and being a huge focal point of this offense?
Well, it feels good for for them to be, really relying heavily on the running backs. That shows that they really, believe in us. And Coach Ed is still a strength coach here. He always reminds us of, 1,000-yard backs that he had, what they did, what it took. So we were reminded. So we know we have to do to get there.
Playing in the SEC, I know it's such a focal point, but can you talk about being in the toughest conference in America and what it means as being that guy that other teams are probably going to be like, hey, watch that guy. We're scouting for this guy. How does it feel to be, the number one option on an offense like that?
Well, it feels good. The SEC is the toughest. I was in the Big Ten, and you could just tell in practice, the athletes and the way people are moved, it's just different in the SEC. And it's the best conference. So if you could do good against the defenses, the Georgias, South Carolina, Alabama, stuff in this conference, you got a good probability of being drafted.
Can you talk about Seth over there, just you all being that 1-2 back punch and kind of how your all's games mesh off each other?
Yeah, Seth is nice. I feel like we got a good little kind of duo. 2 different running styles. I'm more of a guy who probably great defense down. He's more of a guy who really, go in early, make a miss, take it. So I feel like they both really benefit off each other down.
This year, I'm excited for that group.
We've asked the transfers this, but since you're the first returning guy that we've talked to, at least so far, how do you think that the team chemistry has been building so far over these past few weeks between the returners and the transfers?
Yeah, it's been great. The coaches have done a really good job in, doing stuff outside of football and just letting us be all gelled together and bringing us together. And I feel like this is the closest our team has been, really, truly, since I've been here. We hang out outside of football. It's not just in the building. I feel like it's going to show it on the field.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Appreciate it, Alex. What are you looking forward to the most with you guys? How do you think you all developed a lot with the guys coming back from the last season?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to winning. I'm saying last year wasn't to our part at all, so yeah, I'm excited to get back on the right track and start winning.
How's summer workouts been going for you all? What have you seen with guys in the linebacker room from the new receivers or guys who are not against the practice, running backs, receivers, quarterbacks?
Yeah,
summer workout has been great. The strength coaches have done an amazing job with us. You know what I'm saying? You know, the whole team is really competing. Like since fall camp has started, we all competing. Our running backs look good. Receivers look real good. The quarterback look real good. Our defense look good as well. So right now we just competing. We put our pads on today, so we're gonna see what we're made of today.
Yeah, with putting the pads on, you get to see a lot of your guys as well on your linebacker group. What are you looking forward to that today? And just really getting to see something new in practice.
Yeah, I just want linebackers. We just gonna preach on just being violent today. Just striking people and just being physical and just playing fast. No matter what, just play fast and we're gonna fix some mistakes. Yeah.
Where would you say you guys are at? Like ahead of schedule, on schedule? I know Coach White was saying he feels like schematically you guys are ahead of where you should be.
Yeah, we definitely have. The first day of practice, fall camp, we ran a bunch of plays from like our whole install. So I feel like we ahead right now. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see the rest of camp and how this camp gonna go for us.
How do you think being ahead like that will benefit you come season?
Yeah, it's gonna definitely benefit us a lot because we're gonna put we're gonna be able to run a lot of plays. We're gonna be able to manipulate the offense and just do different things, more plays and stuff we run.
In what ways do you think the defense is going to improve this season with your all's transfer portal additions?
Yeah, I feel like we just fast everywhere. From the D linemen to the linebackers to the DBs. I feel like we're gonna have a real fast and physical defense, and we're gonna make a lot of plays.
Has anyone stuck out to you from a new addition this year? I know there's 50 of them. How has that been acclimating them to kind of everything you guys do on that side of the ball?
Yeah, I can't even pick out. There's so many players that's been doing an amazing job. I can't even pick one, but from the offensive side and defensive side, I'm just excited for the fans to see. You know what I'm saying? They've been just going crazy at practice. Doing their thing at practice. So I'm just excited for